Hi guys. I decided to go with something that was a little bit more topical. I know our reading had talked a lot about the presidential election, but I wanted to talk about the hashtag #MeToo movement. So social media platforms, they allow all of its users to be unique while also being included in different groups and cyber communities through likes and dislikes, through mutual friends and making new friends. Um, each person on social media has a voice that can be heard by millions of people. So while the hashtag #MeToo movement was founded in 2006, it didn't really spread like wildfire until October 15th, 2017. So how social media caused hashtag #MeToo to go viral. So this movement was started on Twitter, and it's really lived on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So those are the three platforms that you'll see the most of the hashtag #MeToo. So for years, it seems like there has been stories about powerful people and the not so powerful people. So there's been stories about famed movie producer Harvey Weinstein and others like him. And it seemed like many of the victims and people that had come forward to share their stories had been completely shut out, shut down, um, and you just never kind of heard from them again. It wasn't until October 15th in 2017, so this year, that actress Alyssa Milano asked her Twitter followers to share their stories and to let their voices be heard using hashtag #MeToo. That was the first time it was used, and by the end of the day of her sending that tweet on October 15th, it was used more than 200,000 times. 200,000. And tweeted more than 500,000 times, 500,000 times, the very next day. um, that speaks numbers and that speaks volumes to the issue of sexual harassment, sexual assault, sexual violence that we're not actually talking about. Um, so that was the beginning of the use of hashtag #MeToo because of actress Alyssa Milano asking her Twitter followers to share their story. So today's social media, it allows enough people to come forward and say enough is enough. It's allowed victims to come forward to tell their stories and their experiences while also getting the support from their friends, family, and strangers around the globe. It allows people to feel like they're part of a community and to feel like they have a voice that's worth being heard. And that's a reason why social media has kind of helped this movement. You'll see some stats below. One stat that really stood out to me was that 17 to 20% of victims of sexual harassment are actually men. Um, and you don't really hear a lot of men coming forward with their stories, but because of hashtag #MeToo, there was quite a lot of men that came forward with, their experiences and their stories. Specifically, ones that may have involved famous actor Kevin Spacey. So hashtag #MeToo brought to light a problem that has always been around but was never spoken about out loud. It was kind of like the dirty secret that nobody really wanted to bring up. We all have sexual harassment training, but it's still an issue. So, what's not being done correctly, what isn't actually being, fixed with that. It's forced society. Hashtag #MeToo has forced society to open its eyes to a very real situation that happens every day for both men and women. A recent poll was done. The last time the poll was done was in 2011. They recently did it in 2017 after hashtag #MeToo started. 33 million US women have been sexually harassed and 14 million have been sexually abused in work-related episodes. Work-related. That is a staggering set of stats right there. In work-related episodes, 95% of the women in this poll reported that male perpetrators of such abuse usually go unpunished. 95% of women said that. So the problem is that because of this situation, a lot of these experiences and these situations are happening with higher ups, and people feel the need or the lack of wanting to come forward with their stories because they're afraid of retaliation, of what will happen, whether it's losing their job, which most people cite as a reason for not coming forward with their, and accusing their abusers. 75% of Americans call workplace sexual harassment a problem, while 64% deemed it a serious problem, and that's an increase of 11 and 17% respectively since this poll was last taken in 2011. That is, I mean, it's an increase, but wow. It's still a problem, even from 2011, and yet we're just having the use of social media come forward to help actually make this a real conversation. So previously, marches most likely and have taken place regarding incidents, but nothing has really been done on the same scale as #MeToo. This movement is forcing people to actually examine the issue and to change how they're handling cases of sexual misconduct and assault. I believe that without social media, the amount of people who come forward probably wouldn't have been under the same circumstances. So at the end of the day, social media helps give people a voice, and it allows people to share what they're thinking and what they're feeling with their family, their friends, and strangers all over the globe. And it's allowed people that have come forward in this movement to pave the way for a larger discussion and to realize that we have a real need for reform with this issue. And while this isn't is not a brand new hot button topic, it's just getting the exposure it needs, partially thanks to people telling their stories very publicly through their use of social media. I think that this just means that we're going to have a better chance of, coming up with a better solution on how to handle sexual misconduct in the workplace. And I think social media is definitely paving a way for people to have a better discussion and to actually bring around real reform. Okay, thanks, guys.